The following is an excerpt from Langston Hughes in his writing, The Negro Artist and the Racial Mountain. Yet the Philadelphia club woman is ashamed to say that her race created it, referring to jazz music. And she does not like me to write about it. The old subconscious white is best runs through her mind. Years of study under white teachers, a lifetime of white books, pictures, and papers, and white manners, morals, and Puritan standards made her dislike the spirituals. Of course, referring to Negro spirituals. And now she turns up her nose at jazz and all its manifestations. Likewise, almost everything else distinctively racial. She doesn't care for the Wynard Rice portraits of Negroes because they are too Negro. She doesn't want a true picture of herself from anybody. She wants the artist to flatter her, to make the white world believe that all Negroes are as smug and near white in soul as she wants to be. I've noticed an uptick at the end of 2023 of a lot of black women who are increasing, even our celebrities who claim that black is beautiful, that are increasing this whole putting on blonde wigs. And we saw a lot of those images pick up after Halloween. Not that I'm being costumey funny. And someone would need to explain to me, why is it that the very people who say they like themselves will do that? And here's the thing, I don't get that that's self-expression, because things had been going on for a long time to suggest that there is an element of black people, or particularly black women, who don't really like their appearances. If you don't believe me, why would you have, for example, a YouTuber that had to be banned because she called for the sort of, well, I won't say sort of because I'm not going to gaslight black men. Let's just call it what it is. She called for the genocide of black male babies in utero. Meaning, if you know you are pregnant with a black male child, get rid of it. But that's not what I really want to touch on the most. Langston Hughes has brought up something again about the Harlem what we now call the Harlem Renaissance, that no one wants to touch on. The factions and the elements of the Harlem Renaissance that they weren't exactly trying to conceal in the cities. See, the Great Migration, we want to believe, is this huge movement that brought about places like, I think, Bronzeville in Chicago area, and then I think Bronzeville's in Chicago, and then all of the other city enclaves that created black art. It's just Harlem gets the most attention, despite the fact there were many little Harlems all around the East Coast of the United States. See, the thing is that for Langston Hughes to make this big writing about the image of a black woman and what she was really wanting to portray is astounding, given that even W.E.B. Du Bois, I don't like Du Bois, okay, attacked Wallace Thurman, who wrote The Blacker the Berry, as bitter. And how odd of that. I'm not going to get into that too much here, because that's going to be a whole nother video, because I've read The Blacker the Berry twice. I'm going to have to go back and read it a third time because I think it's a classic. I don't think Wallace Thurman was bitter. I think he saw something that no one else wants to discuss. And that thing is so ugly that it's hard to comprehend. So why this uptick of blonde wigs again? Not that it ever really died down from the 1990s, but why the uptick in blonde wigs again? See, these things come back and forth in cycles, and don't tell me that it's self-expression. And then there's the cowardly argument that there's a certain tribe in Africa that has natural blonde hair. And I forgot where that tribe is located, and that's true. But you can't hide behind an anomaly to justify a self-hatred. Okay, so I did some research, and to be honest with you, this skin bleaching stuff, for example, when Langston Hughes makes the argument in this writing about the woman not wanting to be who she really is, when he says she does not want a true picture of herself from anybody. So I looked up skin bleaching because I think that's the greatest example of not wanting a true picture. And Nigeria leads as the country with the highest rate of skin bleachings, with a total of 77% of women believed to have bleached their skin at one point. And bleaching your skin stems mostly from things like a perceived sense of beauty from bleaching, a perceived sense of being able to pass, a perceived sense of wanting better jobs and better marriage prospects, which I think I already touched on. Social favor was something that these people were craving. And the reason I honed in on that sentence is that it's very, very odd, not so much odd, but telling that Langston Hughes was that specific about what black women were doing at that time. And nearly 100 years later, with greater access and globalization, we're continuing this trend. That this thing, by virtue of being born this way, is ugly. Instead of treating people or treating your dark skin as something that God gave you for a reason, you see it as an impediment. And I think it's profoundly sad. Then the last topic I want to touch on in brief are the videos made more by black women than black men, stating that they would rather have been white or identify as white, even when you see clear Negroid features. And don't get me wrong, Sammy Sosa is an anomaly. The whole thing with the Dominican Republic can be a whole nother video, but I think enough people have touched on the thing with the Dominican Republic and the issues with colorism, so I won't go there, because of course you know Harlem had more than just black Americans. So, but that sentence, it by itself speaks volumes. She does not want a true picture of herself from anybody. So I'm going to raise a question, and I hope you put your answers and your responses in the comment section, because I like these things to be interactive. In what way have you all noticed as of late that black women do not want a true picture of herself from anyone in society? Because this passage from Langston Hughes is telling almost 100 years later, 100 years past the Harlem Renaissance, that was meant to be a place of creative expression. Not to say that light-skinned blacks didn't contribute to the Harlem Renaissance, but why would a Harlem Renaissance artist, one of the more acclaimed, say this and make this observation about Philadelphia at a time when he was more famous in Harlem than he was in Philly? What was Langston Hughes trying to warn the black populace about? All right, again, I encourage you guys to go to Arizona State University and read the entire reading from the Poetry in America, the Negro Artist, and the Racial Mountain. All right, thank you all again for listening. Take care.